Signify by the usual sound of aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The amendments are adopted. Mr. Torrico.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Hereby request unanimous consent to allow Assemblymember Evans to take up file item 30, SB 68, without reference to file in mock-up and amended form for the purpose of third reading immediately.
Without objection. Clerk will read.
Senate Bill 68 by the Senate Committee on Budget and Fiscal Review, an act relating to community redevelopment and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
You may open, Ms. Evans.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members, I just presented on the amendments. This is the bill in chief. I would ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no discussion or debate, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. 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 Ms. Evans moves a call. Members, our regular business is on hold as some discussions take place. Members? But we have a few requests to adjourn in memory. And although we are not prepared to adjourn, we will take those up at this time. So if you would please return to your desks. I have requests from the following members to adjourn in memory. Mr. Chesbro, who is prepared to take that up now, Mr. Jones and Mr. Nilo have all requested to do an adjourn in memory. And by unanimous consent, we will take those up out of order. Mr. Chesbro?
Well, thank you, very much, Madam Speaker. I think in the hopes of getting out of here 10 or 15 minutes late tonight, it seems appropriate to take care of these earlier, since we're waiting for the bills. I rise to adjourn in memory of a dear, dear friend and community leader, Donna Freeman. Donna not only was a good friend, but also a community leader and a beloved member of the Bodega Bay community in Sonoma County. She was a 50-year resident of Bodega Bay. She was a confidant of literally every assembly member, member of Congress, and state senator for the last 30 years. In fact, I know of several of them who were married at the Compass Rose Gardens, where she proudly presided. She was a champion of the Bodega Bay Volunteer Fire Department. She was the chair of the Bodega Fishermen's Festival and had served as president of the Chamber of Commerce. She became very well known when, in one of PG&E's early forays to build a nuclear power plant at Bodega Head in Northern California, she was a leader of the effort to prevent that. She was a tireless champion of the commercial fishing fleet at Bodega Bay. And she took, I mentioned the Compass Rose Garden, she took a barren gully and turned it into an oasis, a beautiful oasis known as the Compass Rose Garden, which became this site of numerous community events, weddings, christenings, fundraisers, literally a community center for that little community out there. And finally, last but not least, she had a part in Hitchcock's The Birds, which was filmed in Bodega Bay. And so she's immortalized on film. But her family, the entire community, and certainly this assembly member and many, many previous legislators and the current congressman or congresswoman who represents Bodega Bay, all will miss her very much. And I appreciate you bearing with me, and I hope you'll join me in honoring her memory by adjourning the assembly in her memory. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chesbro. Mr. Nilo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Last Thursday, a Coast Guard airplane, a C-130 Hercules, was dispatched from McClellan Air Force Base with a crew of 7 in search of a skiff that was in distress off of Catalina Island. Unfortunately, at about that same time, there was a Marine helicopter out of San Diego in the same skies, and the two aircraft collided, not to be heard from again. There was a rescue search that was sent out over the weekend, but on Sunday they changed that to a recovery mission with the determination that it is very unlikely that anybody survived that crash. 7 crew members on the Coast Guard plane, 2 in the Marine helicopter. One of those crew members was a constituent of mine, lived in Carmichael. The rest of them, with one exception, were all residents of states other than California. The lieutenant commander was from Capay. But this coming Thursday, I believe it is, there will be Friday at 11 a.m. there will be a memorial service at McClellan Park honoring those 7 Coast Guard crew members that obviously perished without evidence So I ask that we adjourn in the memory of those 7 and my constituent, who is John Seidman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nilo. Mr. Jones.
Madam Speaker, members, I ask that we adjourn in memory of 2 Sacramentans. The first, Jean Runyon. Jean Runyon was a longtime resident of Sacramento in Northern California. She was a tremendously resourceful, smart, caring, and compassionate person who founded a business, one of the first women-owned businesses in Sacramento, that grew to be the Runyon, Saltzman, and Einhorn PR firm. It took on not only many private clients, but many, many charitable causes, including causes in the arts and causes that are ones designed to try to help children, in particular the Make-A-Wish Foundation, where she raised millions of dollars for needy children. She'll probably be best remembered as one of those people that connects other people, that as a result of her caring and compassion and love for other people is able to bring people together to work collaboratively, people across the aisle, people with different philosophies, people with different viewpoints. She will be very, very dearly missed. The second person that I ask that we adjourn in memory of is Mary Brill, who passed away on October 24, 2009, another Sacramentan. Mary was a neighborhood activist, a community activist, someone who cared deeply about grassroots issues in neighborhoods and making sure that as the city and the county moved forward with planning and development that they got it right. She fought very, very hard for some of our most disenfranchised and poor neighborhoods. She was the founder of the Sacramento County Alliance of Neighborhoods. She also helped to found Sacramento Enriches, an organization that provides services to children and families in need. And she was my 2005 Woman of the Year. She was instrumental in bringing people together to help form the SACOG Smart Growth Plan, which later became the basis for SB 375, which is our global warming and emissions land use legislation. I ask that we adjourn in memory of Mary Brill.
Mr. Nilo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in honor of both of these absolutely marvelous women. Jean Runyon was an absolute icon in the Sacramento area, and I will tell you that I was and continue to be convinced that she believed that I was the most wonderful person in the world, singularly and isolated, the most wonderful person in the world. I will tell you there are thousands of other people who are equally as convinced as I that that was true. She had literally the ability to convince a person that they were her favorite person, even though they knew she was saying that to so many other people. She was absolutely captivating. It was the secret of her connection, as Mr. Jones expressed. Another thing that she was particularly known for, and this would give you an idea of her spirit, she was known for many years for sitting on a platform on the top of her roof every Halloween night, dressed in a witch outfit and cackling as she would toss candy to the children on the street. That kind of epitomizes Jean Runyon, in addition to the fact that her voice was a dead ringer for Carol Channing. Actually, her voice and appearance was an absolutely wonderful woman that this whole community will miss. As it will Mary Brill. I got to know Mary Brill when I was on the Board of Supervisors, when she already was suffering from cancer and struggling mightily to win the battle against that disease that she unfortunately many years later did lose. But she was a person that was absolutely revered in the community by people that agreed or disagreed with her own philosophies alike. A few years ago, her wheelchair was stolen. An absolutely dastardly deed, no doubt, but a call was sent out in the community to contribute to replace that wheelchair. which I participated in. I'm sure Mr. Jones, many others did. That wheelchair was replaced in a matter of days. That's a tribute to what everybody felt about her. I joined Mr. Jones in requesting that we adjourn in the memory of Mary Brill and Jean Runyon.
Thank you, Mr. Jones, Mr. Nilo. The remaining requests to adjourn in memory will be deemed read and printed in the journal. We have another bill, some more amendments to take up, but shortly. Very well. Thank you. Members, Ms. Evans has requested that we lift the call on SB 68. Clerk will post. All members vote who desire to vote. 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 Ms. Evans moves a call. Members, if I could have your attention, please. Members, we are about to go into recess under call of the Speaker. Northern California members, Democratic members, will be meeting in the Willie Brown Conference Room when we begin our recess. There will be regional briefings for other Democratic caucus members, and your staff will be notified of the location and the time. So we are now recessed under call of the Speaker.